to inspire and elevate this value of compassion in the world. So now I pass it back to you. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you, Maria Paula. Well, it's clearly a mutual admiration society. And thank you all for tuning in today. It's really deeply touching on so many levels to me to have you all here to celebrate the work of Compassion Corps, as Maria Paula said, to encourage you to apply for grants and to ignite a spark of generosity and compassion through our work and through the words of my beloved teacher and mentor, John Kabat-Zinn. As Maria Paula said, I taught MBSR for many years. It had a huge impact on my life, John personally, and the work of MBSR, the vision of MBSR, and a radical core idea that I learned and my participants were transformed by was that there's more right with us than wrong with us, no matter what's going on in our bodies and in the outer world. And I'm sure a lot of you know this, and that's why you're here. This message that was fundamental to MBSR catalyzed thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to approach this crazy project of being human with more love and goodwill and spaciousness and possibility. So I'm hoping that our short time together will be a reminder of that, of what's already good and whole inside of you. But also, especially in these times, to remember to consider actually the unimaginable amount of goodness there is in the world. It's a time where, it's a funny old-fashioned word, but the moral decrepitude that is being broadcasted we can forget actually how much goodness there is out there. So part of what we're doing here today is making a choice not to deny the reality of what's going on, but to turn our hearts towards the goodness that is also true. Okay, so I don't think John needs a formal introduction. I think a lot of you are here to hear from him. So I'll just introduce him in terms of what he means to me personally. And this feels a little bit risky, but I'm actually going to read to you what I wrote about John in a book that's coming out next year on equanimity. John, you don't know this, but you're the first person that I acknowledged in the acknowledgments. And I realized when I started writing them just how, now I feel emotional, what a huge impact you've had on me personally in my professional life. Okay, so this is what I wrote to you, John. Profound gratitude to John Kabat-Zinn, my first and most important mentor. Thank you for your generosity, love, impeccability, and steadfastness, lo these many years, and for always believing in me. So thank you so much for being here, John. I turn the Zoom now over to you.
Well, hello, everybody. And hello, Margaret. And thank you for that beautiful sentiment. It's not really a credit to me because you are so easy to love and to recognize the purity of your motives. and the audacity of your vision. So I always, felt that supporting you was just kind of axiomatic. It was just part of my karmic assignment to support you, but it also never felt like supporting you. It just felt like friendship. And I feel like that's really, as I understand it, the work of all of us, whether we're doing MBSR or some other mindfulness-based program, or for that matter, Compassion Core, and the work that you have been doing in so many different ways, cultivating, I guess we could call it goodness in the world. It sounds kind of old-fashioned or weird or quaint, but when it comes right down to it, that's the absolute core and default mode of what makes us human, is the fact that we are far larger than the envelope of our skin, that we extend out, our hearts extend out, we inter-are in Thich Nhat Hanh's language, and so we belong to and with each other. And when we practice and cultivate mindfulness in that kind of a way, it really becomes a love affair, not just with the present moment and our ability to inhabit the only moment any of us ever have for love or creativity or anything else, but it really is a radical act of both sanity and love to engage in this kind of a way. So I just want to bow to you for being on the threshold now of a new creative possibility that's built on everything over the decades that you've already given to the planet. Just the deepest of bows to you for that. And then let's take a few moments and just actually drop in to silence, and I will gently try to guide you with a few pointers to remind you of what you already know. And you can actually engage in this with your eyes open or with your eyes closed. It doesn't matter, because what we're really doing is nothing. We're engaging in being, the domain of being, as I like to call it, and inviting ourselves to fall awake into the present moment. And that means basically cultivating access to awareness in this only moment. And really, I feel like awareness or mindfulness, and I use the two synonymously, or heartfulness, because compassion and mindfulness are often spoken of as, two wings, one bird. And the same goes for equanimity and many of the other incredible aspects of practice that are developed in the larger, universal Dharma sphere, that they're all in some sense different doors into the same room. And the room is you. The room is you in your innate beauty and genius and potential for infinite, not just creativity, but connectivity in a way that furthers well-being and good in the world, and minimizes a tendency that we all have to one degree or another to nucleate around the personal pronouns I, me, and mine, and collapse into a kind of a tension about my own small well-being and small interests. And so the meditation practice is actually completely synergistic with the mission of Compassion Core, which is to remember moment by moment by moment that compassion is kind of a natural condition of humanity. Dalai Lama emphasizes this all the time and uses the example of a mother nursing her child, that there's a kind of integrated biological, and not just with women, but with all beings, biological urge to connect and to tend and befriend, as they say. And one of the elements of this is really not that easy for all of us, and that is to tend and befriend to silence. And when we do that, when we cultivate mindfulness, we're really cultivating access to this awareness that becomes synonymous with wakefulness and with non-doing and with silence. And it's a non-doing in which anything is possible. All doing can come out of being, out of non-doing. So let's drop in for a moment or two to a sense of the body sitting here, breathing. And we're alone, but if you wanted to, you could put your screen in the gallery view and see that we may be all around the world on different continents and different countries, but we're all in the same room right now. You could call it the Zoom room, but it's much more magical than simply your laptop or even the technology that allows this. But it's a new way of being in relationship, which doesn't require us to leave our home. And in fact, at this particular moment, we are all at home and we can get to see each other's homes in a way that really never happens in the busyness of everyday life. So simply dropping into silence and a sense of the body holding and establishing and taking your seat in a posture that embodies wakefulness, dignity, love, and everything in your life up till this moment that has brought you to this gathering. And then just drop underneath any thoughts that might arise. We're not trying to suppress any thoughts or feelings, emotions. And I'm certainly not trying to generate any more of them by speaking in this way, but to actually invite you to drop underneath my words and into the silence that's in between them and underneath them. And actually underneath your own thoughts and emotions and even sensations in the body. And just recognize that you're at home in awareness, in stillness, in silence, fully awake. So you're not trying to get anywhere. You're not trying to establish some special state that will make you feel better or feel like you're getting somewhere. You don't need to get anywhere because you're already here. You're already whole, complete. So there's nothing missing. And there's also nothing extra or, that is any kind of a fundamental impediment to your heart really being as wide as the world, as Sharon Salzberg likes to say. And of course it is because awareness, I would challenge you to find the center of awareness or the circumference or periphery of awareness. You won't, no matter how much you try, because awareness is, if it's similar to anything, it's similar to the entirety of the universe, what we understand from science about the nature of space, that it is boundless. And so is the human heart when it knows itself, even a little bit, and can rest, take up residency, so to speak, in awareness. Out of that deep sense of love and life being a love affair with everything good and possible. And also this deep sense of interconnectedness that you're much bigger than your thoughts and ideas and opinions and pronouns and stories of me and mine and I. Any stories, all stories. Awareness just is infinitely bigger, and it's already I won't say yours, but it's already, in some sense, your deepest nature. You don't have to acquire it. You just have to befriend it and learn how to access it, and maybe even set it as like your default mode, as the neuroscientists like to say. And so underneath all my words, nothing but silent wakefulness. Nothing but open-hearted luminosity. Generosity. Equanimity. Love. So although you could say that this has been a kind of guided meditation, you'll notice that I didn't ring any bells and say, okay, now we're going to start meditating. And I'm not ringing any bells to say, okay, now we're going to stop meditating. Because if you really understand mindfulness and heartfulness, compassion, there is no beginning and no end to it. It really is coextensive with our nature, our truest nature, our belonging, our karmic assignment. So in that sense, the entire time that we'll be together today, and everything that will flow out of your work and the grants and your creativity, I would invite you to at least consider that it's all one practice. It's all meditative awareness. And so life itself then becomes the real meditation practice. And then obstacles, challenges, difficulties, setbacks, they're just part of the curriculum. And if it's not one thing, it's going to be another thing. So nobody should think that it's all going to go without any kind of impediments or challenges. Look what's happening in the world today. Whether you look at Gaza, whether you look at Ukraine, whether you look at the United States of America, so to speak, and the challenges that are being faced, ad infinitum and ad nauseum, that threaten everything good about our democracy, even though there's a lot that could be improved upon. And this is all like kind of an opportunity to wake up and to stand up, take a stand for the good that you and we and life and planet Earth and all its life complexity and life cycles and the whole understanding of this small blue dot being Gaia, it's all one seamless whole. So I just want to thank Margaret and all the organizers for the privilege of even, sort of being invited to sit in and listen to what's unfolding here. And it's just, for me, an incredible honor, as I said, to put my ear to the rail and pick up a few vibrations here and there about what your intentions are going forward and where you've been and how beautiful it is. So, no bells, only this, just this, just this.
Thank you, John. Mhm. Just this is so much. It's so much. And these reminders from you are so important in this particular moment we find ourselves in. From here, before we hear from some of the grantees and the work that they're doing, I just want to orient you a little bit to the work of Compassion Corps. Some of you already know, but some of you probably don't know what it is that we're doing. So I founded Compassion Corps in 2017. I was at the Compassion Institute. I had been training teachers of CCT, Compassion Cultivation Training, and I think like John and probably a number of you here, I had become very devoted to many of the teachers that I trained. I was moved by their depth, their dedication, integrity, their talent, and just commitment. Um, so I wanted to support them however I could. And at the time, I was still working as a therapist at the Compassion Support Community, which is a free program of psychosocial support for cancer patients and their families. I mention this because it had a unique model, this community, where all the facilitators were licensed therapists, we were paid for our work, and we gave it away for free. Kind of the Dana Buddhist model. And what I noticed there was that there was no burnout. We got to be paid for our skills and talents, and we got to give away that which was precious to us. And there's something very beautiful about that model, very beautiful. And it really hit me that we could create something like that for compassion trainers. I mean, my vision, my hope is that we could do this for all mindfulness trainers, all of the people who invest so much time and money in developing these beautiful teachings that they offer with very deep intentions to relieve suffering in the world. That we could create a program whereby these teachers could engage with their own wish for philanthropy and support communities where price is an obstacle by giving away these teachings for free. So my other idea was that I believe, being a little bit of an addictive personality, I'm very addicted to seeing stories of people's goodness. We all have our things that we watch. Well, maybe not John Kabat-Zinn, but a lot of us watch, videos on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and wherever, um, cat videos. And I love seeing stories of human goodness. And I notice what it does to me. I feel inspired. I'm more generous. I walk out from seeing that story and I'm kinder, and my impulse to give is closer to the surface. So I had this idea that we could give these grants and then share the stories of our grantees, and that these would create upward spirals of generosity and compassion. One of our first programs was at the Louisiana State Penitentiary, which is commonly known as Angola, the largest maximum security prison in the country, quite a reputation. There's a film that the incarcerated individuals in our programs made about their experience that's on the Compassion Corps website, and I encourage you to watch it. It's very moving. So we brought Thubten Jimpa there. Chris Germer came. We had day-long meetings about compassion in the prison with maximum security inmates and victims of crime and community leaders. And a lot grew out of our grants that started that Laura Naughton, who can't be here today, unfortunately, pioneered. There are a lot of these stories. And the other thing that I really want you to know about Compassion Corps is that these grants are given to people who have already an organic connection to communities of need, culturally, geographically, and personally. We're not kind of parachuting teachers in with any grandiose agenda to fix or save anyone. Laura, for example, at Angola, chose to do programs there as a victim of a violent crime who believed that compassion saved her life and was strongly moved to connect with the perpetrators of violent crime and find a conversation. It had a personal passion for her. Many grantees like that. Another grantee worked with families of the mentally ill because his brother was mentally ill and homeless. A refugee grantee worked with refugees because she understood their plight. So all of our grantees have a natural connection and affiliation with the groups that they serve, that they teach. They're all certified teachers of evidence-based programs. So I talked a little bit about my belief that compassion and generosity are contagious. You know, we've seen hatred can be contagious. A lot of COVID is contagious. Kindness is also contagious. So any little effort, any drop that we put in that bucket in the world, in our expression of kindness, compassion, generosity, will have unknowable potential to touch others. That is my deepest hope for the work of Compassion Corps. And what we're doing here this morning in our short time is that it will touch your hearts, that it will ripple out and touch the lives of others. Please go to our website and look at the stories, feel inspired, be reminded, imagine, use your imagination to think about all the goodness that's happening in the world that isn't in the news. Let that fortify you. Let it fortify. We need courage in this moment. You know, this kind of thing can fortify your heart to engage, to stand up, to contribute, to act out of love rather than fear or anger. So with that, I'll turn the Zoom room back to our wonderful organizer, Maria Paula, who will introduce our first grantees.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Margaret. I'm resonating with both of your words and really feeling the medicine of compassion as an antidote in our time. And with this, I would love to invite Miriam, Susan, Jean-Pierre, and Divine to join us. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you to all. Warm welcome from all of us. Miriam is my name, based in Germany. And we are very happy to be here and share with you a little bit like all others who follow along afterwards. I'm certified in teaching mindful self-compassion at MBSR, and our team is Dr. Susan Gitau from Kenya, trauma therapist, Divine Musagara from Rwanda. She's responsible for being the local host partner representee. Thank you, Divine and Janvier, who has been acting as global engagement lead for MHub, our local partner, like Divine, in Kigali. My role was to initiate the project, and not much more to say than co-create together, as you've said beautifully before, Margaret. Standing together and co-creating from love, and so much is possible. And we're going to share a bit about that. We had several collaborations teaching self-compassion in the last years in Kenya, online, and Kigali was a hybrid version. And Dr. Susan went to Kigali while I was at home and supported each other that way. So it's a long relationship we have since several years between the different organizations. Susan, over to you to share.
Thank you so much for having us. We feel the love you have for Africa through us, and especially Miriam. We call her our mom because she is the only one who has accepted to co-teach with me throughout. Since 22, we appreciate you. Last year was amazing with 37 participants, teachers, social workers, pastors, high school teachers, lecturers, and community leaders. We really appreciate. We are hoping to roll out to the very people at the grassroots level, community leaders who can speak Swahili, because we have a translation of mindful self-compassion in Swahili. Margaret, John, I read a lot about you, and I can tell you, Africa, with all the traumas we have gone through, with your support, we are touching lives, we are spreading compassion, and we are going to transform the world. Just like you said, kindness is contagious. We really appreciate you, because the participants we have trained since 2022, they have shown resilience, kindness to themselves, and kindness to other people and the communities around them. Thank you, and God bless.
Brownisa, the training coincided with the 30th anniversary of the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, known as Kwibuka. This period is dedicated to national mourning and healing, making self-compassion an essential practice for both individuals and communities processing deep emotional pain. For the communities affected by historical and systemic violence. Murakoze.
Muraho neza. My name is Divine Rusagara. Actually, I was in that training, and that training impacted me because before the training, I was struggling mentally. I had lost my mom, and I was blaming myself for not being there when she passed away because I was not in the country, and I had also left my job. So in the training, I learned something very important, that happiness is all around me, and I just have to look and choose to be happy. I also learned to be grateful and to be self-compassionate. I was able to appreciate, now I'm able to appreciate the small things like the sunshine, the laughter of my children, for example. And after the training, I remember I was able to apply for another job and also to join a postgraduate program. So I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here and for your beautiful, beautiful sharing. Now we'll go to our friends from India, Pooja and Neha. Please join us.
Maria.
There you are. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Neha, and I'm a senior CBCT instructor, the program Cognitively Based Compassion Training. I live in Udaipur, India, and in 2024, I taught a class of CBCT.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pooja. Neha and I have been teaching CBCT from last 2 years. We teach at least 2 batches together, and I stay in Bihar Patna in India.
So together we guided a group last year of young, passionate, mid-career social change leaders and individuals who work tirelessly to bring social change to underserved communities. And this wasn't just a program for them because it was a space where they came together and they felt rejuvenated. There was a lot of reflection and, of course, building of resilience that took place. And as a young social change maker myself, I recognize and deeply understand the emotional toll that this can take and the burnout that one can experience. And I wish when I was younger, somebody gave me those tools that CBCT introduced to me later in life, whether it is grounding, whether it is practicing compassion towards oneself and others. It just helps in sustaining the service giving nature that all of us hold. And that is why I deeply, deeply hold care for caregivers very close to my heart. And it's not just what we teach, it's what we firmly believe in and every change maker deserves.
Thank you, Neha. So 70 change makers joined this class with us, and these social change makers see suffering on a day-to-day basis, experience burnout, they see demotivation. When they came to the class, they understood that compassion is not absence of suffering, but it's like a counterpart. I would like to read one of the participants sharing this, that compassion for self and others has helped me to enhance my emotional resilience and improve my mental health. This practice has taught me about self-love and understanding others. Learning about gap between stimulus and response made me take better decisions in challenging situations. He's Sarfaraz. He's also a change maker that works. Most of us have that strong intention and purpose to bring change. And Neha and I are passionately voluntary of offering CBCT continuously. And when we received this grant, we felt that someone is recognizing our effort. Someone is really caring for us. It was someone is valuing us. So thank you, Margaret, for thinking about us as instructors, because we deeply feel valued with what we have received, and this will cause ripple effects for compassion. Thank you so much.
We felt so seen and we felt so appreciated, and we are deeply, deeply grateful because it just enabled us to extend the gift of compassion to those who really need it, leaders who are working on the ground to make the lives of countless others beautiful. So thank you for believing in the ripple effect of compassion. It means a lot to us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Neha and Pooja. Thank you for your sharing. Now we go to Argentina. Natalia, please come and share with us.
Hello, Maria Paula. Hi, John. Hi, Margaret, and everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm Natalia Sarro. I've been a CCT teacher for 4 years now, and with Compassion Institute, and also an accredited teacher with the Center for Compassionate Leadership. And I had the great pleasure as well to be offered a grant. And being originally from Argentina, now I live in Spain, in Barcelona. And I think my deepest motivation to work with the group that I worked through the grant is basically caring for those who care, like my fellow grantees have mentioned before. Actually had the opportunity to support a group of around 30 women professionals, healthcare professionals from a public hospital in Buenos Aires. These women are actually supporting underserved populations, they're holding a wide range of roles, admin staff, residents, medical doctors, hospital managers. And what really struck me a lot about this group is that beyond their formal titles, there was one particular thing in common they all had, and is that, as working women, they carry this double burden. Like, they were taking care of people at home, family members, children, but they are also, taking care of people in the hospital. So lots of emotional distress, workload, pressure of time, you name it. And I think the most interesting outcome of this class was the ripple effect of compassion, as it always happens with every class. I remember by the end of the program, one participant came to me and said, Natalia, we will still continue to meet every single Wednesday to practice together mindfulness and compassion, even though the class finished. And I think for me, it's a great indicator that this common humanity was established and probably was established there way before the course. But I think the course helped them remind the importance of working together, especially in spaces of suffering. And also have to say that the main reason why I'm supporting healthcare professionals is because of a personal motivation. And I would like to share a brief story. Last year, my 80-year-old father, had a serious domestic accident that sent him to hospital for several weeks. At that time, he was in Argentina. I was here in Spain. As you can imagine, I was feeling very scared, alone, hopeless, far away. And there was one specific person, a female doctor, Dr. Augenberg, who actually changed everything for me. She was in charge of treating my father in hospital, but she was more than that. She was a true compassionate leader. She actually called me regularly, kept me informed about everything happening with my father. She listened to me not only as a family member, but actually as a daughter in distress. And I will never forget her. And I truly want to help more people like Dr. Augenberg. And I would love to encourage other teachers out there to find those caregivers around you that are sometimes suffering in silence and need our support, need to be seen. And basically, I want to thank you personally, Margaret, for giving me this opportunity, and also share this picture of my dad. I don't know if there's a possibility for you to see it. I don't know if you can see it right now. I think it's important to remember that there are so many goodness out there, and that with simple gestures we can create an amazing ripple effect of compassion that supports not only healthcare providers but actually communities and families. So thank you so much for this great opportunity.
Thank you so much, Natalia. Thank you so much for being here with us and for your beautiful, beautiful sharing and the work you do. And finally, I would love to invite Burrell. Please join us.
All right. Hello, everyone. And thank you for joining us for this conversation. I have been teaching CCT for about 10 years now. Margaret was one of my instructors over at C-Care. And I also teach CCT with the Compassion Institute, as well as University of California, San Diego. And this is Waffles, who also likes to hear when I talk about compassion because he always shows up just in time. But I did not use my grant for teaching CCT to cats. But if anybody wants to, start on that research, I think there might be something there. But I used the Compassion Grant to work with the Workforce Development Program on the west side of Chicago. I actually got involved with CCT out of a desire to support and help my community. In 2011, I was coming home from the military and moving to the community that I came from on the west side of Chicago was more dangerous than an actual battlefield. And there are a lot of places like that across America and around the world where there are places that are extremely unsafe for the people who live there. And I wanted to get at the bottom of what's going on, what's missing here. And the answer to that was revealed when I was doing just a small workshop with some young men who were incarcerated at the county jail in Chicago. And I asked a simple question that I asked with young people and with lots of different groups. What is compassion? And this group really struggled. They did not know what compassion meant. They kind of came close a little bit about passion, maybe. And I felt ashamed because this is what we do with young men who don't know what compassion is. If they can't give you a definition, like yikes, that does lead to terrible outcomes and issues and antisocial behaviors. So I was able to team up with an organization in Chicago to bring CCT into a workforce development program that they were doing with young men who were trying to transition out of gang life and live more peaceful, productive lives. And they loved it. They were very excited to learn more about these practices and to dive into what is compassion and bringing compassion as a practice for their lives. And, pro-social behavior program, but they saw that it applied to many different areas in their lives, and just was really helpful. And the program was a massive success. So thank you for the grant in making it possible. Because these young men not only are living more peaceful lives, but are working and bringing this into their workplaces and communities and their homes. Where it wasn't before. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Burrell. Thank you so much. This is so inspiring. It really warms my heart to hear all these beautiful stories and to find even more stories. As Margaret mentioned, you can go to our website. You'll see summaries and pictures and more about the impact that these grants have had in the past. So now we're going to take the last 10 minutes or so to open a Q&A session so that we can answer any questions that you may have regarding Compassion Core. So I know Margaret shared a little bit of how it works. I'll go over some details, but this is the right time for you to ask any questions that you may have. So I'll go ahead and share briefly. Let me know if you can see my screen. Good, perfect. So as I mentioned, this is our map. This is where we've had presence in the past, and we want to continue to impact the entire world with the medicine of compassion. So we're inviting this year, we're extending our programs also for compassionate mind training developed in the UK for Margaret's beautiful program, Mindfulness-Based Emotional Balance, as it is based also on compassion. And there are some new certified teachers also in South America. And we will continue to support mindful self-compassion, cognitively based compassion training, and compassion cultivation training. So I do want to take a moment to thank all of these organizations as they've partnered with us in getting new teachers to apply. So what is important about our programs, we get a lot of applications from those who are not teachers at the moment. So there are other programs that you can join that are part of the Global Compassion Coalition, and you can still become a connector or join the Compassion Circle training that I've developed that is completely for free, and you'll become a host for compassionate circles in your community. So those are the two programs that you can go to, connectors or compassion circles within the Global Compassion Coalition. But if you are a teacher and you would like to apply for a grant and serve your local community, this is what I invite you to keep in mind. I know that there are some adaptations, variations of shorter programs of these 8-week interventions, but we invite you to offer, if possible, the original version of the program, the 8-week intervention that will allow us to select easily the grant that we can offer. And we know the program and the length of each program. We do want to have solid groups, so we invite you to have at least 20 participants in your class. And we want a personal connection with the community, a previous personal connection with the community that you will be serving, so that you can adjust culturally and know the needs, the specific needs that they will have in a learning process of integrating more compassion and mindfulness in their lives. So we do have a committee. I also want to thank Steve Hickman, Gonzalo Brito. They donate their time to support us in the review of every application. And then we come together and we start coaching and mentoring those who will start teaching as they receive the grants. So this is a good time to hear from you. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to use the chat or raise your digital hand and we will spotlight you. And I'll invite Margaret to come on screen as well so that we can reply to the questions together. Beautiful. So if you have any question or comment, please raise your digital hand. We would love to hear from you. Bonnie, please go ahead. I'll invite you to unmute. There you go.
There we go. Thank you so much. I'm just emotional. I'm deeply touched by this. I've been a long-time practitioner and I work in the field of mental health in Northern Canada in the Yukon Territory. And I work for an NGO and we offer mindfulness free. I've taken many courses, but in terms of certification, I wasn't sure whether you acknowledge, Chris Germer's course with Kristen Neff. I took the 3-month course with them out of Berkeley, and also Tara Brock's, Tara Brock's course. And we offer it free to the community, but we're struggling. Our NGO is struggling with financing. And I didn't come on thinking about the grant. I thought you needed to be from the United States. I just came on because this is so passionate for me, So would it be is it possible to apply for a grant through my NGO? We offer it to people in the field of mental health, and I've been running a group prior to COVID that really solidified over COVID that we're still running. So we're 5 years in, and I've just started offering it as a drop-in new. But if there was a possibility to access some funding to actually offer the course to community, I would. Is that possible?
Yeah, so for now there are many programs that we would love to support, but in order to know that the teachers have received this formal process of certification, we are staying within this list of programs. Hopefully we will get many more funding, and that's also the intention as we grow and evolve, so that we can support others who have beautiful programs as you do. So for now, I would think that the Compassion Circle training or the Connectors training can be a better option. I know sometimes Connectors do have funding, and there's like a national coordinator, and there will be as well gathering and community support within those programs. So you'll find those on the website.
Connector. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. If you would add anything else, Margaret,
Yes.
please.
I just want to add, Bonnie, that we're still small with a little bit of funding, and until Maria Paula came along, it was really just me, and all the money went to grants, and I did all the work. And basically, to streamline, I had to be very targeted. Only certified teachers, only 8-week programs that were evidence-based, so that I wouldn't have hours of trying to adjudicate who gets what and why. Maria Paula and I really hope that this movement will grow in such a way. So many people have come with fabulous work that they're doing, like yours, that we would love to support eventually, should we be in that position. But just want you to understand the rationale for others too who may wonder about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. So, Adorn, we'll go to you. I'll invite you to unmute. There you go. Perfect. We can hear you now.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. I'm from Malawi, Africa. I think I had 2 questions. But let me first of all apologize. I had network problems, so I could enter and then leave. So I have missed some information. However, I had 2 parts of the my question has got 2 parts. I think part number 1 relates to what forgotten the name, should be Mariam asked. So I'm also a certified teacher of mindfulness, unified mindfulness. I teach with unified mindfulness. I also teach my own courses as an individual, not as an organization, of course. But also I'm working with an organization which deals with, it's an organization that is just getting established, which works with mental health issues here in Malawi. So I think on the part I wanted to ask was about, am I eligible for the grant? I think you've tackled that part. So that's fine and it's clear. But the second part of the question is that how can I be trained in those courses? What's the process like? Perhaps you might have already said, maybe I missed, but I just want to learn from you. How can I be trained in those courses so that I can also be eligible? Because it can be a good combination, unified mindfulness and your trainings. I think that combination can be a great one. Yeah, I don't know if you got my question clear.
Yes, I believe we did. So I'll let you add anything, Margaret. So to your first question, I think it's very similar to Bonnie's beautiful work. We would love to fund it, but at the moment we need to stay within these science-based, compassion certified teachers or protocols. And on how to get trained on specifically the trainings that we are funding, I'm happy to provide the links. These are not Global Compassion Coalition's trainings. This is Mindful Self-Compassion teacher training or Compassion Cultivation teacher training. And you can go onto their websites and take a look at the prerequisites. Some of them are intensive trainings of a week or so. Some of them are delivered in person or online. So the requisites vary, but I'm happy to provide those links on chat in a moment as soon as we finish. Thank you, Adorn, for your question. I don't know, Margaret, if you would like to add anything else?
I just want to put the thought out there to whoever is listening that if you have any ideas about how we can get more funding to support mindfulness programs, we would love to do that. So just put your thinking hats on. we'd be really thrilled to broaden our grant pool. That would be wonderful. And I'm aware that we're a couple of minutes over, and I know some of you need to go. Maria Paula and I can stay on for questions. Those of you who need to go, thank you for being here. And maybe we'll take, I just see one more hand raised. So, okay, great. Thank you, Adorn.
Thank
Okay,
you.
sorry, maybe before you go to the next person to ask the question, just a quick one.
I think we need to go to Mariam because she's been waiting, and we can come back to you as soon as we
Okay,
finish.
all right.
Because we're over
That's
time.
fine. That's
Thank
fine.
you.
Thank you.
Mariam, please go ahead. I'll invite you to unmute. There you go.
Ah, thank you so much for creating this space. Thank you so much for inviting our vulnerabilities and humanity into this space. Thank you so much. My name is Mariam. I'm from Pakistan. I work with social movements activists using trauma-informed approach and design curriculums and trainings for them. I am very interested in the subject of compassion. I believe it is the compass. It is a tool that we can use to navigate life. And in the current times, it is not the burnout that is going to affect us. I think it is the lack of hope. And compassion can bring that hope that we are looking for. Having said that, I'm really interested to know, like, for someone who has never been to any of your programs and who wants to be like you, do been doing, what would you say to them? Like, where to start? Which course that person should take first, like in terms of the logical sequencing of, you know, take this course first and then go to this course and then go to this course. So that is my one of the questions. And the other question is like, um, are there any scholarships available? I was looking at the website and I see some courses say online, they have a fee. So are there any scholarships available for people who are coming from global south the whole geopolitical and economic situation? A lot of people have lost their jobs as well. So curious to know if there is any opportunity of the scholarship. And yes, what might be the best logical sequencing of the courses look like for someone who has never been to any of. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your question. And I want to be like Margaret. So I've been following everything she does. So she's a good example, and I'll allow her to reply. But I would say that at Global Compassion Coalition, we designed this free training. It's called 7 Steps for Compassionate Living. Well, you'll get completely free content and an introduction to compassion and its practice. So that's a good place to go or to share with your community. If you want to become a Compassion Circle host, we do have like a mini teacher training that is also free, that will give you the content and how to deliver it in 7 steps as well. That's also available on the website. And usually mindful self-compassion, compassion cultivation training, CBCT, CMT, MBEB, all teachers, they have inclusive policy. So if you reach out to these centers or to these teachers, and you express your intention to join, and you request for a scholarship directly into these trainings, it's highly likely that they have a policy that will allow that. Sometimes they can offer only partial scholarships, but that's something that I would invite you to reach out to them directly. Since we don't offer trainings open to public and charge for them, there's no way I would be able to offer that to you. But usually compassion institutes, they are very compassionate in their inclusivity policies, and they will have scholarships available. So that's what I can share. I don't know, Margaret, what would be your recommendation on where to start? Okay, so I know we are over time. I want to thank all of you for joining us, and maybe invite you to consider donating if that's a possibility for you. Everything is welcome. All of your donations will be matched and will go directly to the grants. So that's something that will help the value of compassion to expand. And I want to invite you back, John, to see if there's any closing remarks that you would like to add. I will allow you, Margaret, to close with your beautiful dedication and closing.
No, I'm just so deeply touched by what I've heard, by the energy coming from yourselves and your programs, and by the people who spoke about the work that they're doing on, virtually every continent on planet Earth. Obviously, in the ideal circumstances, you would have infinitely more resources to make available to people. The need is so great. But I just want to bow to all of you who have spoken and shared what you are doing and what you have done. It just warms my heart and gladdens my heart to see you all engaged in this way in something that really is an enormous force for good in the world. And in my experience, the first beneficiary of all of that is you yourself, of course, because that's the practice.
Thank you, John, Maria Paula, and everyone. So we'll officially close with the simple dedication of the merit that I think was so apparent this morning, the goodwill, the generosity. May it multiply, may it be of benefit, may it relieve suffering and spread out in infinite, unimaginable, and unknown ways in all directions.
Mm.
And I think we'll stay for Adorn if you still have one more question. And to everyone else, much love.
Deep bows. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining.
Adorn, did you want to ask one more question from before?
I think luckily the question that I wanted to ask has been asked already. It was about the scholarship. So I think you've responded. What I would like to do here is to do your training and see how far I can go with it. Yeah, I would love to be part of the team, no matter how long it takes.
You're most welcome, Adorn.
And we will be
Thank
here
you.
to support you. I believe the most meaningful value that the global compassion adds to the world is a community where you can go and connect and like nourish yourself with these qualities of love and compassion. So thank you so much for being here and for your sharing.
Welcome. And thank you very much for the great work, because by experience, I've known how compassion has helped me a lot in many, many ways. So
Thank you,
I'm
Adorn.
glad for that work. May you be blessed.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share a comment, a question?
Fair.
Yeah. Fer was in our training years ago.
Hi, it's such a beautiful gift to see you both again. And I want to unite the words in saying thank you for what you're doing. And it's always beautiful to feel that we are in this community together. So I have a question, and that is, apart from the donations, how can we support? How can we support this Global Compassion Coalition? For my part, I would love to see how I can be at service, and I think that many of us are in the same place. So yeah, thank you both, and it's so beautiful to see your smiles again.
That's
Well, Maria Paula, I bet you could put FAIR to work.
Oh, I have so much work.
I'm gonna write to you. I'm gonna write to you. I would like to be at service, really.
Yes, all help is welcomed, really, and this is a very generous offering, FAIR. So thank you so much for saying that, and we can definitely like design a contribution hourly based program where you can donate your volunteer time and help us kind of do some of like housekeeping and organizing. There's so much work to do, so thank you.
Okay, let's do it. Un abrazo.
Un abrazo. Beautiful. So I want to take a moment to thank our team. Joel, thank you so much for allowing this to happen. Rachel, thank you so much for being here with us. Maria Ho, thank you so much for your interpretation and for allowing this to be available in Spanish. And deep thanks as well to Matt and Rick. They've supported us all along in order to come to this point. So we are deeply grateful for Global Compassion Coalition to taking Compassion Core and allowing it to grow and flourish. So we look forward to your applications and to your love and to bringing more compassion in the world. That's the intention. Thank you so much. Deep bows. Have a beautiful rest of your day.